Here we go. This is Eat My Goal, and we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. I'm joined by Dan. I'm Mike. For those of you who have not watched us previously, we are the Pompey pod that tries to take a lighter-hearted look at the world of Portsmouth and football in general. We will talk a little bit about the Premier League a little later in today's episode, which is our 30th episode, Dan. We'll be reviewing the Plymouth game. Hi, Dan. You well?
Oh, good. Terrific. You?
Yeah, very good.
I'm still infected in the chest area, but yeah, I'm all right.
Oh, good to hear. Good to hear. So we will start off with the Portsmouth Plymouth game. We'll then review or preview the Burton game, which is tomorrow night. Lincoln at the weekend. And then we'll have a little bit of chat about the Premier League, things that are going on. One other South Coast team eventually got rid of their likeable Welsh manager this week and seemed to be wanting to replace him with a likeable American manager. Be interesting. We also have a little look at our friends at VAR. Everyone loves a bit of VAR lately, don't they?
Yep.
So let's kick off the Plymouth game.
Well, you'll have to tell me, won't you? You'll have to tell me, because I didn't see it.
Well, there's two ways you can look at this game. These are the two ways you can look at the Plymouth game. Plymouth were good. Let's put it that way. Plymouth were good, and that's fair play to them. But as good as they were, I think also as bad as we were. We didn't get started, as we've talked about before, about the fact that we start really slowly, and we did it again. Started very, very slowly. First 5 minutes, we looked like we could have been behind quite comfortably, 2 or 3 in the first 5 minutes. I was a little nervous because obviously the goalkeeper situation, we've praised how Macy's done recently, and for him to be out was a bit of a blow. But we just started so poorly, and their left winger looked very dangerous. Their centre forward, I forget the names of both, but he looked pretty dangerous. We just weren't in the game. Midfield wasn't in the game. Plymouth were the better side. But why do we always start so slowly, Dan? Why? What is this? It was the same under the Cowleys.
Yeah.
And it's just not changed.
Yeah.
Any thoughts as to why?
Well, that's been the problem most games, isn't it? As soon as we go behind as well, it's very unlikely that we're going to come back and get anything from the game. I mean, I don't know when the last time was. Do you know that? When the last time we went behind in a game?
Not off the top of my head. No. I remember us going behind quite early. Was it Shrewsbury? We went quite behind relatively early and got a point at the end, scrambling for a point at home against Shrewsbury.
Yeah. Did you find out what happened with Macy? Because I've seen different things online.
Oh, what have you seen?
I saw one today where they were saying that Lucinho had taken him out of the team because of the stick he got at Plymouth before. So
really?
It wasn't an injury, but that's just people just saying that. So I don't know what.
Yeah, I don't know. It was said that he was ill, and it was quite late last minute. But surely, if he'd got a lot of stick before, they'd have done that a lot earlier, wouldn't they? You've got to prepare your goalkeeper a little bit earlier than just before. I don't know if it was just before kickoff, but it was fairly late.
Yeah, they just got.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those games where you go through the team and you look at. Well, let's put it this way: I couldn't tell you who my Pompey man of the match would be because I didn't really see enough from anyone really to warrant it. Maybe even, although he looked nervous, I'd say maybe even the goalkeeper probably shaded it because he made a couple of decent saves second half. But did look very nervous throughout.
Yeah.
But a few things that highlighted for me were, now, Plymouth were the better team. Keeper had to make a couple of good stops in the second half to keep us at 1-0. But the thing that troubles me is the two of their goals, the second goal for a start. So Raggett wins the ball, bobbles away. It's then a 50-50 with their player. Raggett pulls out, not just half-heartedly goes into it. He actually pulls out the challenge. They then go on literally within 5 seconds, the ball's in the back of the net. So Raggett, I thought, probably his worst game that I've seen him play. He was all over.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I don't know if it was related, but I thought Towler also wasn't particularly great. I thought he started okay, but again, he looked nervous. There was one moment where there was a long ball over the top. Raggett completely missed it. Towler should have just swept it up quite nicely, easily. Instead, fell over, and their centre forward was clean through. So he was a bit nervous as well. But on their third goal, we were chasing the game. We actually chased the game. I thought, all right, we looked fairly positive. We're getting the ball in the box. We're looking quite dangerous, not massively, but quite dangerous. But then we have a shot from the edge of the area. It hits their defender, spins up in the air. It's a 50-50 ball again. Their defender, who's a little bit like of a Van Dijk lookalike, clearly wanted it much more than our player. And I don't know who our player was. It might have been Hume. I'm not sure. It might have been Lane. I'm not sure who it was. But it spun up in the air. Their defender clearly won the ball. And then again, literally within a minute, they're straight down the other end, break away and score.
I thought you said it was from a corner. I thought you said it was from our corner. Is that what it was?
It was initially from our corner. So we had a corner. It kind of bounced around. It kind of kept going back into the box. And then it came out to the edge. And I think it was Hackett. Went to have a shot, had a shot, deflected up off their player. And so it's kind of spinning back out towards. I think it might have been whoever took the corner was the player who went for the header. But yes, they then won the header straight down the other end. Pack kind of didn't go over his runner, which I'm sure you've seen people commenting on. But and then to compound it, then blame the goalkeeper. I don't know what he expected the goalkeeper to really do in that situation, because he certainly isn't going to be coming for it because it's well outside the area.
Yeah.
But it's just poor. Is that? Do you think that's it? That's our season done then? I think the playoffs are 12 points behind the playoffs.
Yeah,
18 games to go.
It was done before we got the new manager in, wasn't it? Really, I just couldn't see us just going on a big run of wins and getting up in the playoffs and continuing that momentum. I just couldn't see us doing it. We just don't seem. We don't seem like we can put 2 or 3 wins back to back.
Yeah.
I just don't. Mid-tables. That mid-tables what we're going to get now, isn't it? So how many points do we offer? How many points? Yeah. What do you mean the other way? Do you mean relegation or do you mean?
Oh no! I don't think we're not going to get drawn into that. I don't think, unless we have another one of the Cowley style terrible runs. But I can't see.
Do you really think that we can make the playoffs then?
I think we could. I don't think we will. I think we could, but I don't think we will. I think I don't know. I know it's early days with Messina. I know you've got to give him time, but as we commented on the first 2 games, Exeter and Fleetwood, as we know, Fleetwood obviously were pony, completely terrible. But we played high press. We played going forward, especially the second half against Exeter. We looked very, very good. That press has just disappeared. What's that?
Just very good.
we played okay.
Oh, very, very good. Yeah.
Okay. We played okay, but we had that high press, and where's the high press gone? It's disappeared.
Yeah. I was going to say.
Not even a high press, was it? It's just more of a press. There was a press. And now it's just depressing.
Yeah. Well, we did say that even though we got those, what did we get? 7 points in his first 3 games, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
7 points. But even then,
first 3 games,
yeah. Even then, it wasn't. They weren't brilliant.
Sorry, 7 from the first 4, actually, wasn't it? Sorry, yeah.
7 from the first 4. Which is why I find it surprising that. Well, or do I find it surprising that we're now seeing people saying, "I'll sack the board." I've seen quite a lot today. He doesn't know what he's doing. We should never have got him, and it's usually coming from the same people that said 3 games ago, "Oh yeah, he's the man. He's the man.
He's the one for us."
Yeah,
we weren't sure at first, but we've seen a remarkable difference. We've seen enough now to know that actually they knew what they're doing. They waited 3 weeks for good reason, and this is why we've got our man. Well done.
I just think let's just see what he can do at the end of the season, because it just needs a massive overhaul, doesn't it? And I wouldn't be surprised if we had a different 8 or 9 players in the starting 11 in the first game next season.
Yeah, change it all around again.
Yeah, because they're just not good
What's
enough.
your thought? No, and I think that's brilliant. When you look at, I think again, like I say, we're looking for that team on Saturday. I think there are some players who played okay. I don't think anyone played well. I know I mentioned last week about Jacobs, and again, he offered absolutely nothing whatsoever. Nothing going forward, nothing coming back, nothing across the midfield, and it makes you think, well, what's the point?
Yeah.
What's he there for? He's not getting balls into the box. He's not running at people. He probably can't run at people. It's just not even a calming head. There's nothing that I can see that Jacobs offers the team at the moment. And It's like when you've brought in Lane, who does look a bit of a live wire, does look pacey. Why is he not starting ahead of Jacobs?
What was he like when he came on?
Lane didn't really get involved much. He had one opportunity actually. Again, it was quite a tricky shot, I suppose, because it kind of was looping towards him on the edge of the box, though. If he got a decent connection, it's one of those that either goes in the stand or flies in the back of the net. But he didn't get a decent connection, and they had a defender kind of penalty spot, so he had to go back across himself to get to the defender, and somehow he hit the defender. On first viewing, I thought it was a good block from the defender, but actually on second viewing, Lane's actually hit it at him rather than he's got in the way of it.
I did see a bit where he was in a great position for a pass, but
yes,
but he didn't get it.
He didn't get it. I was fuming. Guess who didn't pass to him? Guess who it was?
Well, I've seen it now. I've seen the clip, and Scarlett does really well, doesn't he, to start off with?
Yeah.
Good bit of speed, great bit of skill on the halfway line.
Yeah.
And then just carries on going, doesn't he?
And it's like, why can he not see? Surely he can see. And then some people are saying, well, because they're showing a still clip, but he's offside. Well, at the point of time of that clip, yes, he is offside. He's clearly in offside position, but that went on for quite a while before.
Yeah.
He probably ran into an offside position, which fair enough. You're right if you take a still of that moment, but come on, it's like he had so long to play him in. I don't understand what Scarlett was trying to do. What was his?
I think because I think it's because he picked the ball up sort of midway in our half, wasn't it? And then did that bit of skill on the halfway line, showed a good bit of pace. I think that was it. That was what was in his head then. I'm just going to go all the way now.
Yeah,
this is going to be a wonder goal. Yeah,
I'm going to beat these two Plymouth players.
Although, in fairness to him, it did look like he was trying to pass it at the end, but it looked like he was trying to pass it to the.
By then, it was too late.
Yeah, it was too late. Yeah, but it was still the right.
What's good is I've got a cat about to appear on my shoulder. That's really good, isn't it? But, brilliant. Didn't even realise the cat was in it. Right, you're going to have to come down here, I'm afraid. That's good. At least we're not live.
Yeah.
Good thing is no one's watching, so there you go. That's all right. Leaders. What leaders do we have in our team? There's none, is there? The times when I saw people shouting and stuff seemed to be more shouting at each other rather than as in leadership. Kind of let's get the team going, spur them on,
Raggett with his size and his position in the team, you'd think would be a leader, but he doesn't seem to say anything, does he?
No, I am still here.
Yeah,
I'm just getting rid of the cat.
Pack's our captain, but I don't know. He has a little chat with him at the beginning of the game, doesn't he?
It's just bizarre. I just think it's bizarre. It's difficult to find any positives in there. I think the only positives that come from the games is reading some of the nonsense on social media. Before, generally people are positive, probably the same sort of demeanour as we have. Before a game, you think, yes, here we go, this is it. Every game is a new start, isn't it? During it, I think I was pretty demotivated by about 5 minutes in. But it's some of the stuff you see, as you mentioned about kind of the owners, about the manager already, about the structure, about the thing I see quite a lot is, oh well, at least the South Stand looks nice.
Yeah, terrific.
I get it. There's not enough investment in the team. That's what they're saying. You've got other teams who have invested loads, but surely we've been bitten by that, haven't we already?
Yeah.
I'd rather build slowly, but yes, I'd like it to be a faster pace than it is now. But I think I'd rather that than go back to where we were.
Well, I know we said this last week, but who would you keep? I think actually we said who we'd get rid of last week, didn't we? Who would you actually keep in that?
Well, I would keep. I like Towler. I think although he wasn't great at the weekend, I think he's good. I think hopefully Ogilvy's been off lately, hasn't he? He's been off this game. He wasn't great again at the weekend. Morrell shows patches. Pack shows patches. Clearly, Bishop is probably our one player at the moment who could play at a higher level. Maybe he'll be off. He wasn't very good at the weekend. He didn't do much. But
I don't know. I think he just looks bored, doesn't he, half the time? I think he probably is bored.
Yeah. He just generally backs into players, doesn't he? Ball goes up, backs into him. We lose the ball, comes back. We're defending again.
Did you see that Hackett? Excuse me, Hackett is our second top scorer.
Yeah. Deservedly so.
Is that not with Ogilvy as well? Is he not? I think he might even be.
He's one of them, isn't he? Yeah, and then Piggott as well, who's barely played, has also got 4. So it's all right. It's happy days. I actually thought Hackett looked all right when he came on. I thought he looked dangerous. He looked busy. I don't know. He obviously gets a lot of stick, but I thought he looked okay. He did all right.
But that I think that's probably what he is, isn't he? An impact sub, not a
an occasional impact sub. Yeah. I actually thought Scarlett looked okay when he first came on as well. I wasn't sure about him playing down the left, but he did one bit where he whipped in a cross with his left foot, beat the defender, whipped it in, but then obviously a couple of minutes later did that with Lane. So
you haven't mentioned Dale yet. What was he like? Because he's still getting all the love on social media.
Yeah, he did. To give him his due, he did cross the ball.
He worked really hard. Yeah.
He did one cross in the first half, which I thought, wow, okay. And it was a decent one. Just nobody attacked it. Other than that, he was just Dale. He was busy. Didn't do much. Yeah. Didn't have a bad game. Didn't have a good game. And I think that's the same for most players. Tunnicliffe didn't have a bad game, didn't have a good game. I think we had a load of players who played okay, and then we had a few players who didn't play well at all, such as Jacobs, Raggett, Bernard. Did he? I don't even know if he did much. I can't even. Not really.
That sums us up, though, really, doesn't it? That you'd get 80-90% of them that just were okay. Couple a bit below par.
Yeah,
sums up.
Sums us up.
Well, it does, doesn't it? It does, doesn't it? When was the last time you saw an exciting Pompey game?
I know. I'm just thinking, welcome to the suicide hour on my goal.
I know, but it's true.
No, you're absolutely right. There's
not been, even when we were like terrible, you'd have an exciting game.
Yeah.
It's just not even that, is it?
There's just nothing, is there? There's no, and I think it's down to a lack of drive, the thing is you can, and I think throughout the years, Portsmouth fans have always forgiven a lack of quality if there's that just desire, that drive from players.
Yeah.
I think we've generally, I know we've had some players where Prosnecki is the obvious example whereby he didn't have a lot of determination. Merson is probably another one. Didn't really cover a lot of ground, but the quality more than outweighed that. But more often than not, it's actually we have players like your Sean Derrys, people like that who Martin Cool, people like that who are battlers, hardworking, not the greatest of players, but I just don't think we have anyone like that at the moment. Not a single player. Would you say Morel goes around giving it a large run, but he's like 5'5" and he just gets knocked off the ball far too easy, doesn't he? He's more mouth than anything else. So
we don't seem to have one of those players, do we? We don't seem to have one player, like you said, with the going up for the 50-50. We don't have like one player that
one person who's going to go through. That you think, they're going to give it their all, and that's where we're lacking. I think it's just that because I think if you saw one person do it, others would follow, wouldn't they? But there's not a single one. And the biggest one for me was that I said about Raggett on the 50-50 for their second goal.
Yeah, what was that?
Mate? You're like 6'5". Just go through it.
He just waved his leg in there, didn't he?
You practically have to commit some sort of murder to get a yellow card in League One, don't you? So, if you're a little bit late, you're a little bit late. Most things are forgiven in League One. I don't think there's many things that are booked. I don't know. Strange. But I think we saw the comment the other day, didn't we, where someone said, that's it for top six now. However, Burton is a must-win game.
Yeah.
Must win at Burton.
I'll see if I can find the. No, it's probably miles away. Yeah. You carry on talking. I'll find the actual quote.
Okay. Yeah. So it's must-win to secure our mid-table status. I think that's it. That's where we are now, isn't it?
Yeah, there you go. I've got it now.
Up. Go on.
Tuesday's game against Burton is a must-win, even though the season is dead and buried. That's
what I mean by the level of the tweets.
Must-win. The only way it would be a must-win is if you wanted to get a win to excite everyone, to get everyone back on your side. Yeah. But if it's not going to get you anywhere in the league, it's not must win, is it?
No.
The season's dead and buried.
Yeah, it's kind of pointless, isn't it? It's kind of pointless.
Mm-hmm.
I think what we need a good run of games whereby we get something from them. And I think if we can finish, we're not going to finish top six. 12 points is a big ask in it. There's also teams above us who are probably better positioned, clearly better positioned, but more likely to get into those spots. But I think if we can at least have a good run, get a bit of motivation going, a bit of momentum, and start fresh next year.
But I hate to be a miserable bastard again, right? But let's say we go on a cracking run, and we manage to squeeze into the playoffs. Yeah, can you really see us winning over two legs against any of those teams that would be in the top?
Against the derbies, Sheffield Wednesdays, Ipswich Wednesday and Plymouth are probably going to go up, aren't they?
Yeah.
I don't know. No, is the answer to that. No, I cannot. But you never know, because when the teams do make a late run, they're normally the ones who have the momentum and do end up going up.
Yeah.
There you go.
True. That's true. Oh, suddenly, you've messed with my head now. I think
now you're thinking if we have a good run.
We're going to do it. I think we're going to do it, Mike.
We're going to be playing Southampton next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are. Right, okay. So tomorrow night we play Burton at home. You're going?
Well, no, I was thinking about going. There's loads of tickets, I think, because it's Valentine's, isn't it? So.
Yeah. Kelly loves a little trip to Frown Park.
Yeah. Not normal people. Normal people take their missus out, but I was going to take the boy. For a nice cold couple of hours at watching Burton.
What's your thoughts on the game?
This again.
This again. Do you want to know here's some good stats for you, right?
Go on, give me the stats first then, yeah.
So Burton are currently 18th in the league, yeah?
18th?
18th, yeah. But they are only, they're 7 points behind us, so they're 18th. But this is where it comes into it. They've won their last three. So they've won 3 in a row. Yeah.
Christ.
Which is against, let me tell you, Exeter, who we know are decent.
Yeah.
Burton away. Sorry, not Burton away. They are Burton. Burton were away. Fleetwood away. And Oxford at home. So, sort of teams.
Yeah.
Before that, though, they got smashed by Shrewsbury 4-0 at home. Lost to Grimsby of the National League in the FA Cup. And got beaten 5-0 by Morecambe. So, indifferent.
Yeah.
You could say their forwards.
Yeah. Well, I actually think that we're going to win that one comfortably. Yeah.
I think we're going to win comfortably as well. I've got that feeling.
I think it'll be one of those. I think it'll be one of those really good nights under the lights, 2 or 3-0, nice comfy win. Everyone suddenly going, hey, hold on a minute. If we beat
Pack looks all right.
Yeah, if we beat so and so next week,
yeah,
we'll be up to 10th. And then who knows?
Up to the dizzy heights of 10th.
Yeah.
No, I do. I think we will. I think we'll win comfortably. I think that feeling's going to last me until about 5 minutes into the game.
Yep.
But hopefully not. Hopefully it'll be all the way through. Okay, and then we have Lincoln away at the weekend.
Oh, Lincoln
away at the weekend.
Yeah.
So Lincoln are currently 13th, 1 point behind us. They have won the last 2 as well. They're unbeaten in 4.
Winning?
They're unbeaten in 4, won the last 2. Their last 4 games have been, to be fair, their last 2 wins have been against 10 men on both occasions. Bristol Rovers at home, Accrington Stanley away. They then drew with Cambridge 0-0. They then drew with Milton Keynes Dons 0-0.
What about, do you think that he will drop Raggett tomorrow night and bring Bernard across?
I think once Swanson and or Rafferty are fit, then yes, I think it's got to happen. Because I think even from Raggett's point of view, I think he's got to be fought out of the team.
Yeah.
Somebody said in Twitter that he should be pulled off at halftime, and I thought, wow, he'd probably like that. So
maybe that's why he looks so relaxed in the second half.
Maybe it was.
Yeah.
Maybe he's still thinking about that moment. But yeah, no, he's been poor for the last few games. But I did think Plymouth was his worst for a while. So yes, I would definitely say Bernard should go in. It's a little bit worrying playing a 20-year-old and a 21-year-old as just main centre backs. But I think it's got to be done at the moment. I don't think we've got anyone better.
Yeah, what we got to lose.
Well, exactly. Our mid-table status.
Yeah.
All right. So, what do you think of the Lincoln game then?
What would be your starting lineup for the Burton game then?
It all depends on the fitness. If Swanson or I keep forgetting his name. What's his name?
So Swanson or Rafferty in.
Yeah.
Bernard across. Raggett out. Pack, Morel.
Towler, Ogilvie. Yeah. Pack, Morel. Unfortunately, have to be. Lane came on and played kind of in a 10 role. I didn't really think it suited him. I thought,
So you'd have Lane in for Jacobs then, wouldn't you?
I'd have Lane in for Jacobs. Stick with the same midfield 3. I think Tunnicliffe's done okay since he's come in. Maybe bring in Thompson, but there's no real need to change it. But yeah, I'd have Lane in and then Dale on the right. So
is that Pack, Morel and Tunnicliffe then?
Yeah.
But don't you just think they're just all too similar?
Yeah, as in average. Yeah.
Yeah. But just not one of them's they're all very
Morel did do that thing where he broke beyond the forward line again. And just before they scored, actually, he got round the goalkeeper. Their keeper did well. It was kind of a one-on-one. He tried to lift it over him, but the keeper did well. So he was forced wide, and then he put a ball across, which I thought was a decent ball, but no one really gambled on it. Both kind of held back for a pullback, which was never going to happen because he's already running away from goal. So for him to pull it back is going to be a pretty difficult thing to do. So I thought he did well to actually get it back across the goal. But Bishop and I don't know who the other player was coming forward, maybe Dale, neither of them gambled on it. And I think it could have been a different game if we'd gone 1-0 up. We were at that time probably just growing into the game. We'd had a bad first 5-10 minutes and we were starting to grow into the game. That moment, obviously, within 2 minutes they were 1-0 up. So bit of a game changer. But I don't know if we can get Morel in behind a little bit more, like he was against Exeter in the second half, like he was at Fleetwood until he got sent off. Then this is the thing. We don't have a lot of options at the moment. I don't think, do we?
Or Hackett's the other option in there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or Thompson, but he's just another defensive midfielder.
Yeah. So I'll stick with the same 3. Maybe Thompson for Tunnicliffe, perhaps.
And we're still
I would
keeping-
change Pack, but he's not going to, is he? He's not going to change Pack. I would have changed Pack after the weekend, but
still keeping Dale out there, are we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Purely lack of options.
Yeah.
Just because of lack of options. Unless, again, the only other way you might change it is if Curtis is fit. I don't know what his situation is.
Oh, yeah. If
Curtis is fit, then you might play him down the left and play Lane on the right. But got to give Lane a start, I think. He's got to get in there.
Yeah. I think he will. I think he'll start him tomorrow.
So we think big win. What were we saying? 3-0? 3-0 tomorrow night?
Yeah.
And then I think it's going to be a bore draw at the weekend. 0-0.
Yeah.
But still, 4 points from the next two games. We take that, won't we?
Yep.
All right.
Another happy episode, wasn't it?
It's another happy. Liverpool taking the lead, by the way.
Yeah.
You'll be pleased to know, just to cheer you up a little bit more. Liverpool 1-0 up against Everton. Mohamed Salah, 36 minutes. Nunez with the assist. Let's whilst looking at that, should we talk a little bit about the Premier League? There's a lot of things we could talk about in the Premier League, lots and lots and lots of things, but we'll start with our nearest and dearest along the road, along the M27. Southampton eventually got rid of the Welsh whinger.
Yeah, very disappointing for everyone. I think every Pompey fan must be gutted that he's actually got the boot so quickly.
Yeah, he was a strange appointment all round, wasn't it? I thought it was strange when they took him on. I didn't realise how much of a twit he was until I saw some.
Until every time he opened his mouth.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. He's just a very bizarre character, wasn't he? And I think it was overdue that he got fired. Probably shouldn't have got the job in the first place, but he did. I just think the names that are being said to replace him.
I saw Gerrard. I thought, please get Gerrard in. Please
Gerrard. Do it. Gerrard's currently second favourite according to Sky Bet.
Well, see, they could have done with Sean Dyche, couldn't they?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. So that again, that's why they left it a little bit too long. But yeah, Jesse Marsch is the overwhelming favourite. Doesn't fill you a lot of confidence, does it? I know. I heard a Southampton fan today trying to say, "Well, yeah, but he did win. He did win the Austrian League with Red Bull Salzburg.
Oh yeah.
But he also has just taken Leeds to just above the relegation zone.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's
I'd be quite happy.
The Austrian League. It's the first thing I look at in my managers, whether they've done well in the Austrian leagues.
How do they get on in the Austrian League?
Yeah.
He did all right. Let's sign him up. I think it's a strange one. I think if they take Jesse Marsch, I think that's them almost definitely down, isn't it?
Yeah.
The only good thing from their point of view is they're only about 4 points behind, aren't they? Even though they've been shockingly bad and lost to a load of rivals.
Yeah.
Did you see any of the highlights from their game at the weekend?
I did. Yeah, that's one of the ones I watched. And I didn't realise that Wolves were down to 10 men as well in the first half.
Yeah. They were down 10 men. Wasn't it shortly after the goal, or was it shortly? Shortly after or shortly before?
After the goal, yeah.
Yeah. So 1-0 up, 10 men. You think, here we go, we've got 3 points. Dear. Oh dear.
So
it wasn't to be. So yeah,
but I think, would you say? I mean, if you spoke to a Southampton fan, they'd say, "Well, we'd rather be going down from the Premiership than being stuck in League One." But I'm not sure whether I would be. Yeah, but would you? Because it's so hard now, isn't it? Getting back up from the Championship back into the Premier League. Yeah. And I don't think they'll go straight back up. There's too many similar teams now, isn't there?
There's too many other good teams, and obviously some of the what you call the smaller teams as well are kind of creeping up there as well, and they're like your Lutons are up in the mix.
Sunderland,
Sunderland are back up there. And there's, like you say, there's a lot of good teams. I don't know. I think it'd be difficult. I think the key to going up is the right manager, isn't it? As Middlesbrough have shown with what's his name, former Man United player. Can't think of his name now.
Oh, Brian McClare.
Brian McClare, Eric Cantona, yeah. Arthur Albiston.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chris Eagles you're talking about.
Carrick, that's it. Michael Carrick.
Oh, yeah.
So Carrick's gone in. He's obviously done well there, and then the guy at West Brom has obviously done well as well. Carlos Carbarolo, I think his name is, something like that. So I think if you've got the right manager, you'll do all right. But it is a tough league to get out of. But no, I'd still rather be going into the Championship than not. I know it's difficult on the way down, but I think the Championship is where it's a good competitive league, isn't it? It's where we really should be.
Well,
we should be. I think from our status point of view, I think our level.
Yeah. But not.
I think in the grand scheme of things, the size wise, I don't think we're a Premier League club. I think we should be a Championship club.
There you go then.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Super League is back down. The European Super League. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
So obviously they tried with 16 breakaway teams, 16 rebel teams not so long ago. Most, with the exception of 3, you've been attacked by cats as well.
Dog. It's just get down.
So Juventus, Barcelona, and Real Madrid have kept up the fight, and they are back. Now they have introduced a new system where relegation is possible, but it's got legs. I think this one.
But everyone went crazy, didn't they?
Everyone went crazy because it was a closed shop, an American style, elitist. Only 16 teams or 20 teams were allowed in it, and it would always be the same 20 teams. Whereas now they're saying, actually, we'll have a Super League 1 and 2. Right. We'll only initially play, I think it's something like 14 games or 18 games across the season. It'll all be midweek. But then, ultimately, once the ball starts rolling and the money starts rolling in, and the Premier League sides, because the Premier League is the powerhouse, basically, because they're the ones with the most money.
But Gary Neville's head almost fell off. Did it not? Yes. When he was talking about this last time. So it's going to be
a headless Gary Neville.
It's going to be midweek games. Is that right?
It's going to be initially midweek games, initially midweek, and I assume it's going to replace the Champions League format. But it's going to happen. I can see it now. I think they've come back with a better format. It's more inclusive. They've obviously gained the support of more smaller leagues that want to be part of it. And I think the key obstacle really, and even if the Premier League clubs don't go for it, I think they're going to do it. And I think eventually the Premier League clubs will do it because it's going to be where the big cash is going to be, isn't it? It's a massive cash cow.
So forgive my naivety, but what does this what happens? So they play in this Super League, and then what? Well, in the league, and then what happens?
By all accounts, what they want to do is they want to make it a global sport. So what they want to do is they want to have the likes of Real Madrid playing Liverpool in Los Angeles. They want the likes of Manchester United playing Barcelona in Qatar. Right. Okay. So this is the sort of thing.
So people like Man United will play Fulham at home on the Saturday. And travel to Qatar to play Barcelona.
Well, and this is the thing, isn't it? Because so what potentially is then going to happen is that teams are going to start prioritising their better players for the better games, the games that are going to get them the more money. So if you've got a game in Qatar that's going to earn you, I don't know, 10 times what a Premier League game is going to earn you, you're not going to play a player on a Saturday and then play them again on a Tuesday, a few thousand miles away, are you? What you're going to do is you're going to rest your best players. So it's almost, the Premier League is almost going to become like an FA Cup / Carabao Cup game, whereby you're going to be playing your under 21s or your reserves or whoever.
Right.
And I'm not saying that's going to be next season, but I think in a few seasons' time, that's where it's going to go. Until eventually, the Premier League becomes effectively the Championship, and then the Champions League or the European Super League takes over as the new superpower.
So what happens when you win this Super League? What do you get? Billions and billions of pounds?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think you get the Sean Rabbit treatment. You get pulled off at half time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
well, of course, yeah. It's just going to be they're just going to chuck loads of money at you, aren't they? It's going to be loads of American money, loads of Far East money, Middle East money. It's all just going to be cash for all.
Right. Fair enough then. So we look forward to that.
Right.
When's this coming in?
I think a couple of weeks. No, I don't know. I would assume it's not going to be the beginning of next season, is it? So I would assume the beginning of the season afterwards if they get it through. That's going to be the earliest, isn't it?
Who's going to take Man City's place when they're
out of it?
When they're kicked out.
I don't know. I think maybe Fulham.
Fulham, yeah.
Probably Fulham, or maybe one of those mid-table sides like Chelsea or Liverpool.
Yeah, true. Liverpool are 2-0 up now, by the way.
Are they?
Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword, that one, because I kind of want that little relegation battle to continue, but I think I'd rather Everton won that. So that's it, European Super League. Right, 2 things before we wrap up. Firstly, we spoke about it a couple of weeks ago. Your wins of the week was VAR. VAR this week has gone to, in my opinion, new lows.
Yep.
What do you think? 3 horrendous
I watched it earlier on, and they've so they've come out and admitted to Arsenal. They've apologised, haven't they, to Arsenal and Brighton. They said, "Oh yeah, sorry about that. It was human error." So the Arsenal one was that they. I was watching Dermot Gallagher. I've got a picture of Dermot Gallagher here, actually.
All right, go on.
Yep, bear with.
Show us, Derm.
There it is. Oh, no, sorry.
Isn't that the scientist from the scientist from the Muppet Show?
Yeah. Sorry about that. So I was watching him earlier, and he was saying that what has happened is that Lee Mason, who was the VAR chap, spent so much time, spent 3 minutes plus trying to work out whether the blocker, I can't remember what his name was, the player. Who was the blocker?
I can't remember. It was on Gabriel, wasn't it?
Christian Norgard.
That's it, yeah.
Trying to work out whether he was offside or whether he was interfering. So he spent all this time trying to work that out, but then didn't actually go on and go, but after that happened, Norgard then headed the ball on to Geezer, who was in the... No, sorry, it wasn't. No, it was Pinnock. Pinnock was the...
one who headed it on.
Yeah, Pinnock was the one that headed it onto Norgard. Yeah, but they didn't check that. They didn't check that. That's what he says. The human error is he forgot to check that part because he was so engrossed with
So here it is. Not even close either. He's clearly offside.
No, but they've forgotten to check it. He didn't get round to doing that. So he spent so much time trying to sort out the first offside that he's just his mind's gone, and he's just thought, "Oh well, I've spent 3 minutes doing this," and this is Dermot Gallagher saying this. I've spent 3 minutes doing this, so that's the reason behind that one, and it just makes you wonder. Well, I'm sure it's not just Lee Mason sat there in the caravan, is it? Going, right, I've got to make this decision. There must be other people there. There are other people because there's an assistant VAR person as well, isn't there? So why is he not going, or she saying, "Well, what about this one? What about the one?" I just don't.
Well, just on the first one, which they took 3 minutes to deliberate over in his own mind. What did you think of that?
Well, so Dermot Gallagher was saying that, and Arteta was saying that if there's a blocker and it's interfering with play in an offside position, then that should be classed as offside. Yeah. Okay. But when they've looked it back, he technically wasn't. So I think that's the right decision. I think he wasn't interfering. He blocked someone off, but the ball had gone over to the far post anyway. And he wouldn't have been able to. That defender wouldn't have been able to get across and cut that ball out anyway. So I think that decision is right. But it's that then the ball comes back up, and then Pinnock, who's now moved back into an onside position, then heads it on to Norgard. And that's where Norgard's offside, but they just haven't checked that bit. they've just given up.
It's just bizarre, isn't it? It's just Sunday League. It's the sort of thing.
Yeah.
If you had VAR at St George's down in Cosham, or George's Fifth playing field down in Cosham, it's the sort of thing that someone would get on their camera, but on their phone. But it's just ridiculous, isn't it? It's just going to show again that still of that image. Just kind of just do your job. And even if, like you say, I agree. I do think the first one is, well, he's not really interfering. But at the same time, if it's given, you kind of understand why. Because it's one of those ones where it is a little bit subjective. Is he interfering? Is he not? Well, maybe he is interfering. But I personally don't think he is, like you said. But then just come on. So make that decision quick. You're a professional referee. Make that decision within 30 seconds and get on. Oh, hang on a minute. Something else here. Oh, what about this one? Oh, yeah. I didn't look at that.
Oh, yeah, but I spent ages on this one. Oh, fuck it. Just give him the goal. It's too long. It's too long.
You spent too long. Don't matter if it's right or not.
Yeah. Don't we need to get the decision correct? No. Just go and put the kettle on. Hurry up. Within 3 minutes.
So that moves on to this one, which is the Brighton one. Now,
so did you see what they said for this? They put the wrong line in. They put the
on the wrong player.
Name. Yeah.
On the wrong player. So I assume it should be from this player here.
So it could be from Tompkins, shouldn't it? Is it Tompkins?
Is that Tompkins behind?
Yeah, I think so.
But anyway, it's they've drawn the line from here, from his shirt.
No, they put the line through Tompkins' body, but it should be from Gay's body. Or Gay.
The guy behind, yeah. So it should be from here, which looks as if he might just be on. I don't know. I haven't seen the extra thing, but clearly he's the last man. Come on.
I know. I just don't.
It's not even as if when they said about this, I thought, oh, maybe he was way out of the picture or something, like in a left back position or something like that.
Yeah.
But he's right next to him.
Yeah. But again, they came out and said, "Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that." And again, where's the assistant VAR to say, "Oh, have you put the right line in there, Poppet? Have you got the right one? Have you?"
Well, this was the worst one for me. Out of the other two were ridiculous, but this one, when you review it, this is the still here, and I know it can be deceptive when you see a still, but that's pretty much tells you exactly what you need to see.
Yeah.
His arm's away from his body. It does hit his hand quite clearly.
Yeah.
It's a penalty all day long, isn't it?
And even Dermot Gallagher, who's the first one to stick up for VAR normally.
Yeah.
He says that they might have been concerned about giving it because they're worried about the falling down aspect. Because if you fall down onto the ball, they like to try and say that's not a handball. But he said even in this one, you can see that he's moving his body towards the ball and diving like a goalkeeper. So it's just like
he's blocking, isn't he? He's going to block. He's not falling. He's not tripped or anything. He's looking to block the ball, and it just so happens his arm's gone out and turned it around the post.
I just don't get it. I just don't. Everyone that I know that's seen this, all the pundits and the people that I've spoken to, they've all said it's handball. So why?
What have they seen?
VAR, yeah. And why aren't they coming out? I know people always say this, but why don't they come out and just say, okay, this is the reason in the rule book that we've got here as to why this is the rule here, and this is why we haven't given that as a penalty, and then read it out and say, and then so you can go, oh, that's why then.
Yeah, so we can know for next time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the fact is, the reason why they haven't done that is because they've somehow looked at it and they're the only person probably in the whole ground, with the exception of the referee who, in fairness to him, he's only seen it in a split second. Worst case scenario, they should be saying to the ref, go and have a look at that again.
Yeah.
And even the ref on the pitch surely would go, yeah, that's a pen.
We're not seeing enough of that this season, are we? Referees going to... I know we saw loads of it at the World Cup and people did moan that it was taking too long, but we're not seeing enough of referees going to view the screen, are we?
No.
I don't seem to be seeing a lot of that in the Premier League.
No. Is it being frowned upon for some reason by referees? Are they not liking this? Maybe. I don't know. Wednesday night, Dan, is the Arsenal-Man City game.
Oh.
One question for you. Is this a title decider, do you think? If Arsenal win, do they win the league?
Where is it?
So Arsenal.
I think if they win, then yeah.
The lead now is 3 points. If City win,
they've got
go
a game in
level on
hand,
points.
haven't
They have got a game in hand. Yes.
So they're 3 points in front with a game in hand. So yeah, if they win that, then
6 points with a game in hand. You'd think that's.
Well, you'd think, wouldn't you? But then, as you know, with City, there's nothing to stop them going on a. Well, normally we'd say there's nothing to stop them going on a 15-game winning streak, but they're not looking great at the moment, are they?
They're not looking great. They play right. I thought they were decent at the weekend when they lose against Villa. And Arsenal, you could say, actually are on a little bit of a blip, aren't they? Fair enough, they should have beaten Brentford, but I thought Brentford were actually good. I thought Brentford were decent, and they had a couple of good chances before Arsenal went ahead, didn't they? Tony hit the bar when he probably should have scored. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's one of those whereby I was watching the thing the other day with the overlap with Gary Neville and Carragher, and basically they had a whole bunch of Premier League fans, and they chuck them questions and have a little discussion. And Gary Neville apparently quoted it saying that if City win the game, that they will end up romping it by about 9-10 points. And I kind of see what he's saying, because what he's saying is psychologically, from Arsenal's point of view, if City come back from being so far behind to suddenly now being level on points, even with a game in hand for Arsenal, that psychologically will be, for a team that's never, obviously Arsenal haven't won the Premier League, as in the current group of Arsenal players. He was saying that psychologically that would be a massive thing. City do have the experience of winning the league time and time again, and then they'll have the momentum, and they'll have they'll then go on and romp it, and Arsenal will lose a couple more games. However, I think it's massive. I think if Arsenal avoid defeat, that would be a good result for them.
Yeah, I agree. Although I did see they were saying that Haaland might be out.
Oh, really?
See that? I don't know whether it was whether it was a fake headline, but I'm sure I saw that Haaland might be out injured.
Might not necessarily be a bad thing, though. I know he's a goal machine, but and obviously at times he's looked absolutely incredible. But I think also City aren't the same team when he plays, are they? I don't know. It's strange to say, but obviously they've won the last couple of years without even having a centre forward. I know they had Aguero on the back end of a couple of years ago, but he didn't really play that much, did he? He kind of was in and out of the team and mostly injured. But they didn't really have a focal point for their attack. They just played with kind of almost like an attacking midfielder. Foden even played in there sometimes, didn't he? Yeah. But still romped the league on both occasions. So maybe, I don't know, I think maybe it might not be such a bad thing to have someone like, I suppose on the flip side, though, you still had someone like Sterling who could play in that sort of position, didn't you? Who would play there now?
Well, is Alvarez dead?
Of course, yeah. No, I forgot about him. No, he's still around, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he probably suits their style of play. Don't take anything away from Haaland. Haaland's obviously an absolute goal machine, isn't he? And his pace is phenomenal. But so I think, which way do you reckon it's going to go? Go on, give us a prediction. It's Wednesday night, live on Amazon, I think.
Well, all season I've been saying that Arsenal, well, they won't. But then, sort of Christmas, wasn't it? We changed our opinion of them. But that's another one. If they can not lose, I think that shows just how far they've come this season. If they cannot lose against Man City, they can get a draw out of it, then that's certainly a good sign.
Yes.
But I predict 0-0.
I'm going to go. I also think draw, but I think it'll be a score draw. I think there'll be goals in it. I think maybe even a 2-2 draw. I think, and maybe Arsenal leading until quite late, City getting a late equaliser. That's what I'm going to go for. 2-2.
Yeah.
I do think, though, irrespective. Well, no, not irrespective. I think if Arsenal win, they will go on and win the league. But I think if there's a draw or a victory for City, I think it's going to be a very close run-in.
Yeah.
I think much closer than it's looked over the last few weeks. Arsenal obviously dropped a couple of points.
Sorry, don't forget, if Arsenal finish second, they end up winning the league anyway.
Yeah, just delayed by a few years.
Yeah. When Man City get it all stripped away from them.
Eventually
Yeah.
it'll come back around.
Mm.
There's been quite a few rumours on that, hasn't there, about the old vultures of PSG and Real Madrid circling around, Barcelona circling around the Man City squad and Guardiola and stuff like that. Yeah. Apparently PSG are after Guardiola, so are Barcelona. Barcelona also want 2 or 3 City players. This could just be rumours, obviously, but you never know. Well, there you go, Dan. We've the chat has been non-stop. No comments. But for our first live, I think it's been all right, isn't it? We occasionally had somebody watching.
Oh, really?
Yeah, occasionally.
Are we allowed to swear?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether it's allowed on the live rules.
Okay.
Maybe mild language.
It wasn't going to be mild.
Okay. I forgot to do a little warning at the beginning, so next time we do a warning. But we will be putting this out on YouTube. This will be available on YouTube to watch. It will also go onto Spotify and Amazon Music and Deezer and all those places that we listen to or you listen to. So do subscribe, do like. Please come back and watch again. We'll be doing more of these lives moving forward. We will let you know when that's going to be. Not sure if it's going to be a Monday or a Tuesday night. That's a discussion to be had. But that's about it from Eat My Goal. Thanks, Dan, for your insights, your knowledge, your wit, your humour, and your refraining from language.
I'm going to squeeze one in right at the end.
Right at the end. Is
Yeah.
it going to be there? Right.
Yeah.
We'll see you soon. Thanks very much. Bye for now.
Bye, you